8, 9. Okay. So we're here pumping it. We're pumping it up. The sun just barely is peeking out of the fog. The fog over in just about 10 or 12 miles away. On the other side of the hill, the fog is so bad. There was a 43 car pileup yesterday on Highway 58 in Bakersfield, California. That's how thick the fog is around here. That's why I told you yesterday. I said the fog over there, it's as thick as pea soup. Zero visibility. Right now they said about 200 feet visibility. So 200 feet is about up to that building right there. And that's what happens. And so I'm recording on my main phone right now. I don't know why I'm yelling. But I just turned this one on. And we're back out here. The sun just barely even coming out. Let me put that one up there for a minute. Okay. Get out. There. Yeah, so I'm pumping out like 5,000 watts, and I'll show you. Because I'm pretty sure, unless they're screwing with me, because I read on this one. This one actually, I found out the people who bought it. Who bought it was Kings County, and this one here actually cost 70,000, and it does have batteries in it. They put batteries. They could put an 8 kilowatt hour, 16 kilowatt hour, 32 kilowatt hour, or 48 kilowatt hour. They go in blocks of 8 kilowatts. So this one has at least 8 kilowatts. This unit right here costs 70,000, not 60,000. But let me show you what, because it's barely morning time right now. So let me show you how it's positioned, because it tracks the sun. We got our Subway sandwiches across the street, but I don't see any people going in there. So it's pretty quiet over here. Ain't nothing going on. But let me show you that street right out there is Skyline Boulevard here in Avenel, California. Right across the street's a car wash. Okay, so you can see how the sun is right here. It's barely morning time. The sun just barely came out. And over there, it's all foggy. It's Thule fog, about 12 miles um, east as the crow flies. And so you can see it's morning. The people aren't even here, haven't even came to work yet. And you can see how it's tracking the sun. And just off that little bit of sun, these solar panels right here put out 360 watts in full sunshine. And um, and so they are. I can't see it from here. I should grab a picture. I'll remember that now. But um, when the sunlight comes out like this right now, if you grab across those wires, it'll shock the crap out of you. and and I saw this one person. He made a video. It's a long video. It's about like an hour, and he tells you everything. He gives you the whole rundown of solar energy and where it's going. He compares, the system we're using right now, and I mean, he just tells you everything. I don't know if you want to check that out or not. I watched about half of it, and I was just like, yeah, there is some stuff that I didn't really realize. I mean, he goes into the cornfields and everything. And so it's kind of weird because his body language looks like he's lying, or I don't know, I don't know what the hell's going on with his body language. But um I mean, I have my own suspicions of what. I mean, I think it's on the up and up, but you know, I know who's probably funding it. Um, just if you do watch it, I don't know what the name of it is. I'll mention it later on in another video. But if you do watch it, just remember this: there's free energy. They don't need all this bullcrap, dude. Nikola Tesla already invented it. That's why they burnt it down to the ground. One of them was in Colorado, and they burnt that down to the ground. And then he went over to Manhattan Beach, New York, and built one there, and they burnt it down to the ground. This was free energy for the whole planet. No wires. And so just keep that in mind. But anyhow, so yeah, so those panels are pumping out. I want to grab a picture of one, so I hope I don't forget. I'll have to do it on this camera. I gotta grab a picture of it. I wonder if I could turn this video off for a minute. Uh, but yeah, so there's no cars here right now because all the people who come with the Teslas, they work here at the prison, the Avenel prison. They're the ones who have all these $50,000 Teslas. That's why they're not here right now, because it's all freaking foggy, right? So I said, it's foggy down there. I'm going to beat them to it. Because as soon as a Tesla comes over, and remember, these $70,000 solar panel, self-standing, standalone solar panel, electric vehicle charging stations were not put here for the people out in the prison with $50,000 Teslas. These were put into low income communities for low income people. As soon as one of those Teslas pulls up here and plugs in, it'll shut this damn thing down because the batteries need to be serviced on it. It's only running off of the solar panels, which only put out, I added it up, 4,300 watts. So as soon as a Tesla pulls up and plugs in, it'll shut the whole system down because it tries to charge the batteries up. It'll charge the batteries up. And once the batteries are charged up to an 8 kilowatt hour, then it'll start putting out probably 3,000 watts per side, and it's only going to last half an hour. It'll charge the cars for half an hour. Then when it depletes the batteries, when it drains the batteries, it'll turn back off again. You see that light right there? So yesterday I was charging and it was almost getting dark, and a Tesla pulled up, plugged in. About 30 seconds later, it kicked the machine off because it drops the battery voltage. If it drops the battery voltage, it kicks the machine off. So these batteries need to be replaced. So if you have an 8 kilowatt battery in there, it'll charge two cars. Well, for probably an hour, because the batteries will be putting out the 6,000 watts, plus the solar panels will be putting out 6,000 watts in full sunlight. But even in dark at nighttime, you could still charge two cars for a half hour on 8 kilowatt hour battery pack. And you can put four of them in there: 8, 16, 32. 8, let's see, what's 8 times 4? 16, 16, 32. Yeah, 8, 16. 16 plus 8 is what? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, oh, 24. So it's 8, 16, 24, 32. So if you had 32, it'll charge two cars for like 3 hours. That's how much energy the batteries can store. But if the batteries are no good in it, right now I know that it at least has an 8 kilowatt hour battery in it because I read the specs on it last night. It shows all the specs. It shows exactly how much money they paid for it, when they got it, when they ordered it, who paid for it. And so these batteries need to be replaced because it basically doesn't have any batteries. But if it did, it would charge all night long. Cars could be here. I mean, it won't charge cars all night long, but it'll be available all night long. You can come here at midnight. As long as there's no freaking Teslas here sucking up all the juice out of it, um, yeah, it'll work all night long if it had batteries in it. So, let me tell you what's going on. I hope I don't forget to snap a picture of that solar panels. Um, but let me put this up here. Let me just move this and then I'll check my signal. I am recording on my main phone right now because I want to keep track of this because the sun isn't very bright, right? I mean, I've got an indicator there, but I just want to make sure, I'm monitoring because I'm still kind of new at this unit here. And so, what's beeping? So, let me tell you what's going on. This morning I had the breakfast. I forgot to put cottage cheese in it, but I had breakfast and it didn't go right because I didn't make the eggs right. I woke up early in the morning and to go make the eggs, and you know that in my living room it's very, very freezing. It looks like somebody was smoking in here and they burnt this thing. It's very freezing in there, and I didn't have any cold oil for my heater, which is diesel fuel. So I've got the thing here. I'm going to go get some right now. Um, so I couldn't turn the heater on full blast and open the door and walk out there to the kitchen and make the breakfast, right? So I'm making breakfast, and I've found that when you cook food, you have to let it set. Right? Did you know that? I never knew that. You have to let it set, or else it doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste right. And so I caught on to this. Wow, that's as far as it goes back. That's that's jacked. Okay, so I caught on to this. So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go out and make the eggs. I bought the um, pasture raised eggs. So I got myself a dozen of pasture raised eggs, and they're pretty cool. But I'll tell you this, I just you know you know that in Europe they don't put the eggs in the refrigerator, right? Because when the chickens lay an egg, they have a protective coating on it, so you really don't have um, to refrigerate them. But in the United States, they wash the eggs, so they wash that protective coating out off. So you have to refrigerate them now. And so it seems to me like um, the European way, Germany, Italy, Ukraine, all these people, they don't refrigerate their eggs. It seems to me that that's the better way. Like in the old days, before you used to buy eggs in the store, you didn't have to refrigerate them. And to me, it just seems like they would be better that way because to me, that seems like a fresh egg. So, like right now they have mandarins. If you buy a mandarin in the store, they've been refrigerated. They take them down to like 42 degrees, but sometimes these people who are transporting them in trucks, sometimes they get it wrong and they'll put 38 degrees and who knows what else. So once it's been refrigerated, it changes the taste. And if you go out here right across the freeway out here, it's about 8 miles down the road. Um, they have trees with so many mandarins, you cannot believe it. I mean, it's loaded with mandarins. And if you take one of these fresh off the tree, it tastes completely different than one that you get in the store. Not saying that the ones that you get in the store don't taste good. They do. I ate the whole pack. I need more. But I would like to go down there to these trees, grab me a plastic bag and just grab a grip of them, right? But you know they got cameras out there somewhere. And so, I don't want to do that, but it would be nice if they would have, pick your own. That would be really, really nice. To where you pay them and you go out and you pick your own. It's a piece of cake to pick those. They're everywhere. 2 minutes and you got 1 minute and you got a full bag of them. That's how many there are on the trees. And um so anyway, so to me it seems like that would be like a fresh, right? Because when you pick a fruit fresh off the tree, I don't know what it is, but it tastes different. I told you I used to get those Chinese plums from Mr. Watanabe, my third grade teacher. He used to have a tree over there in Kalinga. Strangely enough, I ended up living right across the street from it later on in life. But anyhow, he had Chinese plums, and I could never find those plums anywhere. And one day last year, I was driving through Fresno, and there was a plum tree, and I got one right off the tree. And there's something about it when you pick it right off the tree. There's just something, it's more better. So I think this is probably the same way with the eggs. I think if they have not been, refrigerated, I think they're more fresh and they probably taste different. But anyway, um, there are places who sell fresh eggs. By the way, if you're in Fresno, there's people out there who's selling fresh eggs that haven't gone through any processing or washing or anything like that. They just barely been laid, and I think they're $12 a dozen. So they're kind of expensive, but if you want to try some, and so the best thing for a chicken is if you buy the pasture raised eggs. That's the nicest thing for the chicken because they can go out there and they eat normal stuff. You know, that's the way nature made them. They eat everything, not just grains. They're not vegetarians. They eat anything basically. And so that's the best thing you can do for the chicken compared to some of the unbelievable hellish treatment that they do to these chickens. Okay? So the other eggs is a little bit better, right? It's a little bit better to them, but um um I would still say pasture raised eggs. You know, if you were a chicken, you would want somebody to stick up for you and tell the people, pasture raised eggs. So karma. Um, Now on double yolker eggs, I don't know what's going on with that, but if these are pasture raised eggs, then how come they all look the same? Right? They're all exactly the same. So does this mean that the chickens are, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. All I know is I'm buying the pasture raised eggs. I'm pretty happy with it. Uh and so that's all I can say for that. And so now that getting on to the tortillas, because I told you I was going to make myself some eggs with cottage cheese. Well, I forgot to use the cottage cheese, and um, there's other things that I want to try with it that were out of stock that go good with tortillas. And so I was going to try the tortillas this morning. So I went out and I made the eggs, but I used this little um, hot plate. It's a $12 hot plate, and it needs to be replaced. I've been using it for over a year. I need to pick up a new one. They're only like $13 at Walmart. I have to check the price again, but it's basically like they're giving them away because PG&E knows that these things use up a lot of electricity, so they're for it, right? That's the only reason I can imagine how they could sell them so cheap. That's like giving them away. $12, $13 for a hot plate. Well, this is what I have, but it needs to be replaced. So last night I cooked the sweet potato, and I was really surprised. I did not know that it would cook that fast. And I put a little bit of sugar, which I probably shouldn't. Sweet potatoes are sweet already, right? So I put a little bit of sugar and molasses, but it was pretty good with the molasses, and but a little bit too sweet. And so next time I make a sweet potato, I will I won't add any sugar. I'll just add a little bit of molasses. And so so I made those sweet potatoes last night. I peeled them. I know that the best way to have a sweet potato is to throw the whole thing in the oven, but I don't have an oven, right? So that's why I had to cook it on the skillet. And so uh, I know that the skin has a lot of vitamins in it, and when you cook them, if you wash them real good and you cook them in the oven, then you can actually eat the peeling because it gets like a syrup and it's just real good and tastes real good to eat the peeling. But because I can't really wash the sweet potato that good, I don't have a scrubber, and it takes forever for hot water to get there. That I have to use cold water, and I don't have a scrubber and stuff like that. So I was like, well, the creator put skin on it, on you know to protect the stuff. It's like a package. So when you get an orange, it's like the creator made it for you in a package. Even though the package itself has vitamins and minerals and stuff, as long as they don't spray it, you can, you know, eat the skin on the peel on oranges and citrus fruits has a lot of medicinal qualities and properties. But still, if everything's dirty outside, right, you don't have access to wash the stuff. It's a package. You take the package off and you still can eat the fruit. So I decided to, because of Eurytrema that's in dirt everywhere. Eurytrema is a parasite, and it doesn't die from extreme heats like 450 degrees boiling water. It doesn't kill Eurytrema. And Eurytrema, well, I can't go into discussion of it because that goes into the medical field, so you can't talk about that stuff. But anywho, um, so I decided to use the potato peeler and peel the skin off of the sweet potato. Then I chopped it up and put it on the thing to cook on the electric thing. And amazingly, it was temperature controlled, right? Usually it'll be full on or it won't turn on, whatever, but it was temperature controlled and it cooked. I said I was going to keep letting it cook. I put some stuff in there, and I said, no, I better try it. So I took a fork. I used plastic forks, and I took a fork and it was just, it was overdone. And so I turned it off, and then I had it, and I had the rest this morning. But so uh, so I went in there to cook the eggs this morning. I'm gonna cook the eggs, and I bought myself some potatoes. I told you they have French fries that are organic, but they're freaking expensive. Okay, they're $4 for a little bit like that. So I bought myself some potatoes, and this is even more nutritious to buy fresh potatoes. And so I was gonna get some red potatoes, but the red potatoes were like about that big, right? You take forever just to peel one potato, and there was like 2.5 pounds. And I started walking off with them, and then I saw bigger potatoes, big russet potatoes, twice as much for the same price. And so even though I like the way red potatoes are better, right? Um, I put them back and I took the russet potatoes. So the russet potatoes are not too bad, but they're not as good as red potatoes. But these red potatoes nowadays, what the hell is wrong with these people? They're all little small little red potatoes. You need a good sized potato like that, like the big russet potatoes. And why are they charging expensive? You can put one potato underground, plant it, and in a few months you'll have 100 pounds of potatoes. I saw that on YouTube. And so, I mean, I know they're heavy to ship, but what is the deal? You know what I think it is? I think the reason why they're expensive, not really expensive, but look at the red potatoes. Red potatoes are expensive. They're hardly ever the same price as russet potatoes. Russet potatoes are nearly giving them away. You can get a whole big old giant bag. You can barely even carry it for $5. And so why can't they do that with the red potatoes? I think they don't want you to have good food. That's why. Nutritious food. They want you to go over and buy the cheap ass crap that's already in the freezer section. It's already chopped up. It's got all kinds of freaking chemicals on it. They make they make a hell of a lot more money off you eating that crap. Later on, they're going to rake the money in than you eating that nutritious stuff. They're not stupid. They didn't get to be the richest people in the world being stupid. Okay? And so I chopped up potatoes. I didn't make them into French fries. It's too much trouble to make them into French fries. I just chopped them up real quick and made the potatoes. They came out pretty damn good. Not too burned. They were okay. Because I had to basically just turn them on, and then I went back to the room, closed the door, so that it could stay warm in the room, and I just, hope for the best. About 15 minutes later, I walked back out there and checked them. When I picked up the pan, they were light, so I said they must be done. So I kind of just like flipped them over a little bit, and so they weren't too burned, and so um, so I put those aside, and I got my other pan, and no, I poured them into another pan, and I put my pan back. I put a little bit of coconut oil in there, and well, right now it's cold, so it comes out like lard, right? And because when it warms up, it turns into oil. When it gets cold, it turns into like lard. And so I started cooking my eggs, but the the pan, I don't know. I was in a hurry or something, so I didn't cook the eggs right. And so when I went over, I put the eggs back over on top of the potatoes. It was like the egg yolks busted. And so I said, oh, just to hell with it, right? And I got the rest of the egg yolk and threw it in the trash. And that was it. So I put the eggs on top of the potatoes, put the lid on it, and just set it aside, right? And let it set for about an hour. And so um I forgot to uh have eggs with cottage cheese because I didn't want to have the cottage cheese if the egg yolk's busted, right? That's what makes the eggs good when you're having it with cottage cheese, if you have the egg yolks. And so I had the eggs and potatoes without any cottage cheese, which it's basically just the eggs, no other flavors, just the eggs with salt and pepper and cottage cheese. And so I tried the tortillas, the new organic tortillas. And the tortillas, they're okay, but I noticed that they look kind of brown. And um, I don't think they really have to be brown, right? I don't know what's going on with this, but to me they look kind of a little bit brown. A lot of tortillas look like that brown. And uh, a lot of the tortillas now that they use in the restaurants, when you get your refried beans, they use a certain kind of tortilla. There's different kinds. There's one that comes out like puffy, and there's one that comes out like more sticky type, um, gummy, rubbery, and they're both pretty good. But personally, I think they need lard. They need lard and take the sugar out. Tortillas do not need sugar. There's 5 ingredients for tortillas: hot water, wheat flour, salt, baking powder, and lard. Okay? So these people are using olive oil. That needs to be replaced with lard. Okay? I mean, they could keep the olive oil for, if they're ringing in their sales and people are cool with that, keep the olive oil. But they should make available one when the people go in there and they read it and you see the tortillas and it's made with lard, that's the good one. I mean, it tastes good. It's probably not as healthy. Who knows? But um, I've actually heard that it is healthy. And so not shortening. I'm talking about lard. Okay? And not lard from jacked up cows. Not cows who've been freaking GMO'd and juiced up with all kinds of nasty crap. I'm talking about free range organic cows. The lard from free range organic cows. Kosher. And so I think they need to take out the sugar because there's no need for sugar. People don't put sugar in their tortillas. What the hell is wrong with you? Take out the sugar and replace the olive oil with lard. So you have two brands. I mean, you'll have two kinds. One is made with olive oil, one's made with lard. You don't have to put on there that you made it with lard. Just leave it alone. Anybody who's paying attention, they'll know. So when I walk in there and I see tortillas that are made with lard, those are the ones I'm going to try. Okay? It makes them like shortbread cookies. Like that song, my little baby loves shortening, my little baby loves shortening bread. Shortening bread is shortening cookies. Like your almond cookies, those are made with lard. Well, shortening. Uh, but lard and shortening, basically, they bake the same. It's just that shortening is supposedly not supposed to be good for you because it's hydrogenated. So I think it's better to use just regular lard. And so just think all those years growing up with tortillas, you know, tortillas, that's the main thing you eat. Like Asian people, they eat rice. The Hispanic community eats tortillas like the Asian community eats rice, right? That's their bread. All those years. and they were freaking effing up the flour. That's freaking criminal. Unknowingly, mothers were feeding their kids, making them tortillas with enriched flour, unknowingly knowing that that stuff is straight freaking crap. They don't even use it in Europe. They don't allow it to be imported into Europe. Not saying that they don't spray their crops, the wheat crops over there, with Roundup, but they're trying to get that banned right now too. Germany and Italy are leading the way, and Vietnam already banned it. You can't spray that crap on the wheat in Vietnam because they're not stupid. And so that's all I've got for right now. And thanks for tuning in. Signing out from which, oh, I forgot to tell you. I tried the hot sauce. And these clowns think they're being funny, right? By putting on there that it's red peppers, not cayenne peppers. You know, there's different kinds of peppers. They're all good. Bell peppers are good. Bell peppers are loaded with good stuff. But I'm talking about this stuff that's called capsaicin. I think it's called capsaicin or something like that. That's the active ingredient in cayenne peppers. The other peppers don't have it. If they do, it's so small amounts. That's what's so good about cayenne, is it's loaded with capsaicin or whatever you call it, capsaicin. And they don't want you to have it because they know it's absolutely has medicinal qualities, has medicinal properties. That's why they're pouring 13.5 grams of salt in it. And not one brand is making it with sea salt. So to hell with them. Screw them. Right? And well, right now there's people on YouTube showing you how to make it yourself. But these people are absolutely in bed with the freaking industry that profits off you being not well. Know that. These people are straight freaking devils, dude. And so I'm still looking for the product that apparently it's supposed to be out there. It might even be at Trader Joe's. I don't know. But even if you find it at Trader Joe's, they don't label it as cayenne peppers. There's different kinds of red peppers, right? They know exactly what they're doing. They know their freaking stocks are going to dump when people catch on to this, what they're doing. They're not making it available. Go on and look on Google and say, low sodium cayenne pepper hot sauce. It'll say there's some available, and you go look for it and see if you can buy it. It's not on Amazon. If you go in, there's one supposed to be Dave's Killer or Dave's cayenne hot sauce. They got all different kinds, but not the one that says cayenne on it, like it shows when you first go and search for it. They've got all different kinds, all made with different peppers, but the one with cayenne, the one that has the capsaicin, they are making it hard for you to actually, they're hiding it from you. There's even the ones that are on your shelf when you go to the dollar store right now that are supposed to be low sodium. They're not low sodium. They're 150 to 200 milligrams of sodium per teaspoon. Okay, these that the AI is telling you are available, they're made with 0 or 15 milligrams of salt. But try buying them. They're not listing them on Amazon, not listing them on Walmart or anywhere. This product is absolutely a nightmare to try and purchase it. Okay? It's cayenne pepper, hot sauce with low sodium. Every one of them that's on the market is freaking poisoned with enough salt to knock an elephant on its ass. Okay? So just wanted to share that with you. It doesn't even look like cayenne pepper. It looks like your regular hot sauce that you get at the restaurants. Not saying that that's bad, but it does not have that active ingredient in it, capsaicin. Okay? All hot peppers are good, but cayenne pepper in particular has a certain medicinal property. They don't want the people to have it because they're making too much money off freaking selling freaking heart pacers and everything else. This is their bread and butter. So be sure to listen to this on audio CD. And it wasn't. I told you yesterday that it was number 6. It's not. It's not CD number 6. It's number 7. But 6 is pretty good because he talks about Dr. Coldwell. That's the number one doctor in the whole in the whole world. Actually, he's from Germany, and it was disc number 7. And, oh, it's in there. But this should be number 7. Let me show it to you. This is disc number 7, and this is the one that talks about soda pop and all kinds of stuff. This one will really turn you on. It'll get your juices flowing. Okay, it's got a lot of different informations in there, and soda pop is one of them. Okay, you can get these on eBay. You get the whole CD set for dirt cheap on eBay. It's the audio book. It's this book right here. It's this book, and the author, Kevin Trudeau, reads it to you, word for word. That's the other book you might be familiar with. They're both the same. It's just one has more stuff in it added to it. But you can, if you don't like to read, you can just get the CD set or dirt cheap on eBay and listen to it in your car. All right, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you later. Signing out from the San Joaquin Valley in California, West Coast. And talk to you soon on the next video live stream.